The combatants Benjamin Moloise and Mngomezulu were executed in October 1985 and May 1989 respectively. SABC News reporter Natasha Phiri has been covering the event and has filed more information on the story.
A very good afternoon to you and to our SABC News viewers. Not so much of a somber moment here at the Orlando Community Hall, where of course what you see there behind me is the remains of Benjamin Moloise and Mngomezulu. Of course, this was handing over and the reburial ceremony of these MK fighters. For those of our viewers who don't know, during the apartheid era, there was a time where the state, the draconian apartheid state, had actually withheld the remains of, these MK fighters, denying the families the opportunity to mourn and bury their loved ones with dignity. Both Mngomezulu and Moloise were interred as paupers in cemeteries around the city of Tshwane without the knowledge and the consent of their families. And finally, through this moment, the NPA's missing unit as well as the TRC unit had managed to exhume the remains of these MK fighters, and of course in this ceremony hand them over for the reburial of these MK fighters. For the family, it's been a long time coming. For the family, it now signifies a moment where they could actually now rest for finally and get some sort of comfort and peace that the remains of their loved ones are now back with them. We heard from the family representatives saying that it's been decades since not knowing where their family members were actually buried by the apartheid government. And finally, this now brings some sort of comfort to the families and of course their political home, the ANC. We heard there the ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula also lauding the Minister of Constitutional Development, about this process. We actually spoke with the minister earlier on, who had said that they're going to conclude this project where they're going to hand over the remains of those ANC political activists who actually hung at the gallows. And the next project now is to bring back the remains of those who actually died in other countries, or those who actually died in exile. So for the families, it's a form of relief. For those from the political home, it's a form of relief. But of course, the Mngomezulu family and the Moloise family, they are very happy that finally, after decades and decades of searching for the remains of their loved ones, they can finally bury their loved ones in dignity and in peace. And of course, both MK fighters were lauded as gallant fighters, young people who at that time were actually hung by the draconian system. But of course, this now signifies closure for the family.